Well, this morning we're getting a spooky surprise.
Lori from the Local Lou podcast joins us this morning to give us a look at a spooky mystery house here in this week's Throwback Thursday. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, guys. You guys are just like as seen on TV.
Oh
my gosh, this is amazing.
Well, that's the goal, yeah. We want to be the same in person as on
totally.
TV. Yes.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I wanted to talk to you guys today about the Kaufmann House Mystery, which is a historical marker which is located on North Summit Avenue. The house was built in 1887, and nobody knew at the time that in 1906 it would be the scene of a horrible crime. So, who was living in the house? Emma Kaufmann and her husband Moses Kaufmann, who was a partner in Sioux Falls Brewery. That wasn't the only people that were living there. They also had a 16-year-old immigrant servant girl from Hungary. Her parents lived in Parkston, South Dakota, and she was their servant, and she started in 1906, Agnes Polaris, in 1906 in February, and by June 1st, she'd be dead. So what happened to Agnes? Well, it's kind of a mystery. We know little bits here and there, but her body was shipped back to Parkston, South Dakota, and when they opened up the casket, they realized she was murdered. Within days, Emma Kaufmann is arrested and on trial. So a woman of society on trial, it's wild.
Yeah.
So Sioux Falls kind of goes wild. A mob forms outside of her first court appearance, and so they have to move the trial from Sioux Falls to Flandreau. There's witnesses called. They say that Emma was vicious to all of her servants, but specifically this new one, Agnes. And at the end of the day, she gets convicted of battery and has to pay a $100 fine.
Wow, that's all.
That's it.
That's it. And so now the
Wow.
only thing left is that house. That's the witness to this crime. And I'm not saying the house is haunted, but if these walls could talk,
Yeah, right.
they have a story.
Yes.
Does it look kind of spooky? Like
Totally.
when you look at it?
The house
Oh.
is totally spooky. I mean, people live in it, and I'm sure it's lovely. But
But it has a spooky feel.
It's
If you
spooky.
live there, we're not saying the house is spooky.
gorgeous. Yeah,
It just has some stories to tell.
absolutely.
Well, and just talking about that rich history, right here in Sioux Falls, I don't think everyone realizes how many historical markers we have and how cool they are in the story with them.
Couldn't agree with you more, of course. That's totally my thing. We have over 250 historical markers here in Sioux Falls and in the surrounding area. So there's tons of history that we're just walking by every day.
Yeah. How can people get involved and learn more about what historical markers you cover?
Oh, totally. If you want to know more about the Local Lou podcast, localloupodcast.com, or you can catch me wherever you are listening to podcasts.
Well, I have listened to some of your podcasts,
Oh,
and they're
thank you.
so interesting. And we appreciate you coming in for a spooky Throwback Thursday today.
Thank you, guys.
Well, stick with us. We'll be back right after the break.